What is going on, everybody? Welcome back into another episode of the Coach Steve Show podcast, where today we're going to do our Illinois versus Virginia pregame. Talk about the keys that's going to take for Illinois to compete, possibly get a win, with Virginia coming to Champaign-Urbana. So we're going to be talking about that today on this episode. Make sure you hit the like button and the subscribe button on the YouTube channel. Follow it, rate on Apple and iTunes, and follow me at Coach_Steve72 on Twitter. Send me a message to be on the podcast. Leave a comment in the comment section down below. All that good stuff helps go a long way. So please, I'm on a mission to get every single Twitter follower I have to subscribe to the YouTube channel. So if everybody could do that, if you're watching it, please do so, please, and thank you. Also, check out the Belly Up Media Network at bellyupsports.com to check out all the podcast blogs, everything there. There's sports-related things. There's also non-sports-related things that people will enjoy. So bellyupsports.com to check out the Belly Up Media Network. So Illinois they're coming off their heartbreaking loss to Indiana, where Illinois, I know their offense struggled, but their defense played really well up until the final end. But we talked about that already, where it's they're on the field. It's in a situation where, you're holding a team to, at the time about 16, 17 points, and you give up that loss. And so Illinois is going to come correct it. I know Coach Bielema is probably going to have conversations about the offense because he has shown that he is adamant about the offense being much better and, making an early offensive coordinator change after year one of taking over a program shows that he wants the offense to be much better than what it is. He thought the defense was great, and he wants the offense to follow. He wants the offense to be there. We're seeing glimpses of what he wants it to be, really downhill power run. But he also wants better play out of just converting on certain downs, I'm sure, and everything. So Virginia is coming to town to Champaign-Urbana. Now, we all remember what happened last year. And it's kind of starting to, so far, it's playing out exactly like last year, where almost, and I mentioned it on the last time I talked about Illinois. Illinois has this big one versus Nebraska, first game for Coach Bielema at Illinois, and it's exciting. It's convincing. Illinois did make mistakes in that game, especially as the game went on and Nebraska started to score some more, but there was positives to take from that game. And then UTSA comes to town, and Coach West, who has been on this podcast many times to discuss Illinois and other sports, he went to the UTSA game and he said, man, you would think that we had this game in the bag. There wasn't that many fans there. So it came to the conclusion that maybe some people thought Illinois was just going to show up and roll over UTSA, and that did not happen, and we lose. And then we head to Virginia, where Virginia does have a good offense. They have good offensive players, and they took it to Illinois. And that was almost a turning point there. But if you think about it for this season, we don't play a team like Nebraska week one, but we went against Wyoming. We not struggled, but we were just kind of stagnant a little bit. And then we started, besides defense. Defense looked great. Offense kind of stagnant a little bit, but then got it going, comparable to the Nebraska game last year. Then this year we play Indiana. Now, Indiana, on principle, should be a better program than UTSA, but there's an argument to be made that last year's UTSA team is better than Indiana, but that's a whole other conversation for a different time. Then you lose to Indiana, who you probably should have beat, kind of like how you should have beat UTSA on principle. So now we're in that situation once again, and now Virginia comes to town. So we have to talk about how we feel about this game, because after we lost to UTSA, you don't feel very good about it. After losing to Indiana, I don't feel good about it, but the defense is still the defense that we left off with last year. I think the offense will slowly start to morph into what it wants to be, and I think we're seeing glimpses of the wide receivers starting to get open and wanting to be the person, be the guy that I always say, we have to have someone that's going to be the guy And I think we're slowly starting to see that, but Virginia is Virginia. Now, we're going to talk about the keys to this and remind everybody what happened last year. And remember those keys when it comes down to last year. Last year, Illinois traveled to Virginia and they put the smack down. It was 42-14. Virginia came out and scored quick, 14 points in the first quarter. We held them to 7 points in the second quarter. They scored another 14 in the third, and then they scored 7 in the fourth. We only scored 7 in the second and the third. Peters got hurt, and Art Statowski got the start. He was 24-45, 221 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. It's not a great game, but it was better than all the other games he did. You know, he did overthrow hitches over their heads and everything else. But this game, he didn't do that bad. Rushing was a struggle that game. Chase Brown, who is going to be an NFL running back, only had 41 yards rushing with 1 touchdown. We passed the ball a lot that game because Chase Brown only had 7 carries. Norwood had 4 carries. McCray had 7 carries. You know, Arstowski ran the ball 7 times. So we did not run the ball all that much. Receiving, again, we didn't have somebody to be the guy. 43 yards, 41 yards, 33 yards, 28 yards, 17 yards, 16 yards. The defense gave up a lot of points and gave up a lot of yards. Brennan Armstrong, their quarterback, was 27 of 36, 405 yards. He averaged 11.3 yards per completion, which is a lot. He had 5 passing touchdowns and 1 interception. They did not really try to run the ball either. They had a 35-yard rusher, 31 yards, 24 yards, 24 yards. The receiver, Jelani Woods, had 122 yards receiving on us. Henry had 74 yards receiving. So there was a lot done to Illinois last year. Coming into this year, it's a different year, obviously. Virginia has a new head coach in Tony Elliott, the offensive coordinator from Clemson for many years, won some championships, coached some good quarterbacks. He is coming over to Virginia to be the head coach. Now, Coach Kitchens, Des Kitchens is considered the offensive coordinator, but I'm sure Tony Elliott is pulling the strings there for that offense. I'm quite sure. You know, it's hard for an offensive coordinator to become a head coach and not have huge says in the offense. We're not even calling it. So they're trying to, do different things there. They're trying to build that program up as well. Now, Virginia at that time last year, we're going to check out their schedule from last year because they did beat Illinois. They went on to win some games, but they also lost some games. After they beat Illinois, they lose to North Carolina, they lose to Wake Forest, but they did beat Miami, they beat Louisville, they beat Duke, and they beat Georgia Tech. Then they went on a skid and lost to BYU, Notre Dame, Pittsburgh, and Virginia Tech. Then they were in a bowl game, getting to their 6 wins, but ended up getting canceled due to COVID, I believe. So, and Armstrong all year showed that he could throw the ball. He was throwing 300 yards, 400 yards per game. His worst game was Notre Dame at 196 yards passing. And guess what? He's back. Armstrong is back at quarterback. Last week, Virginia beat Richmond 34-14. Now, that's not something to bat your eyelash at, but some are going to say that you shouldn't bat your eyelash at Illinois beating Wyoming either. And that's fair. That's a fair statement. Armstrong was 21 of 33, 246 yards, 2 touchdowns to 1 interception. He also had 105 yards rushing. The running back Paris Jones had 104 yards rushing. Receiving, Lavelle Davis Jr. was our leading receiver for 89 yards. Caden Thompson had 55 yards receiving. So they took care of business. They did what they had to do versus Richmond. Now, I'm going to say that I think the Virginia game last year for Illinois was the turning point. Right as that start, after that game, you saw a big shift in the defense, in my opinion. Now, I would love to talk to Coach Walters about it and say, was that the turning point, or did you make a lot of tweaks, or did the team just really start to pick up what you were doing? In my opinion, you saw a much more aggressive defense. You saw a lot of movement. You saw different coverages. I think they simplified a little more, in my opinion. And then as they really start to get comfortable with it, they really started to add a little more. And it's just continued on into this year, and you're seeing the exact same thing on defense this year. So I'm very curious to ask them if I ever have a chance to talk to him that was that the turning point in the defense because some mistakes were made during Nebraska. Then you lost the close one to UTSA. The offense did score 30 some points, but also gave up 30 some, which I'm sure they didn't like at all. And then you come to Virginia and they just get beaten. And after that, the defense just took a day of a turn and it seemed different. And so I would love to know. But to me, that's what it seemed like. And so now the defense is ranked up. Right now, Illinois is the favorite. On ESPN, you're looking at a 66.4% towards Illinois. Illinois right now on ESPN is -4. Over under is 57.5. You may want to take the under. I'm not sure because of Illinois' defense. So, but Armstrong is back, who shredded them. But I'm sure that Coach Walter is going to have a different game plan. It's going to be okay. It's not going to be what it was last year. Illinois has played 2 games. Virginia has played 1. Illinois is averaging 29 points per game. They're only giving up 14.5 points a game. They have 461 yards per game. Balanced, 224 average passing, 237 rushing yards per game on average in the 2 games. They don't give up as much rushing yards. They gave 170. Virginia gave up 170 yards rushing. Illinois is only giving up 107 average. So this is going to be a good one. A couple keys for this game. We're going to have to see that offensive line continue to grow. So people got on them for the last game, but I don't see that. They did. They gave up some pressures and everything, but it's a young offensive line. We're going to see them take a next step. I trust the offensive line coach there and Coach Miller. So keys to this is to see that offensive line continue to grow and take that next step into this game. Another thing that's going to be key is still Chase Brown. Is Virginia going to be able to stop him? And I think Tommy DeVito's they're going to have to open up the playbook, and I think they're really going to have to move him in the pocket. And I think they're going to really have to do short passing games to really get those wide receivers some confidence. So those are going to be some keys on the offensive side. And you need like Luke Ford and them to step up as the tight ends, especially when you get closer to the goal line. You're going to need those guys to catch passes and score when you're getting closer to the red zone. Keys, Illinois defense just keep doing what they're doing. The guy keep doing what they're doing. Armstrong proves that he can run the ball too. So I think you're going to see different fronts again. They're like Illinois likes to play around with the 3-4, 4-2-5 look. But if you stick to that 3-4 look, they're going to have those outside linebackers really controlling him. You're going to see a bunch of stunts up front. So the Illinois defense is going to have to just do what it does. And I think they're going to have to be okay if he runs a little bit. I think they're going to really try to control him passing. So they're going to have to make that decision. Do they want him to pass or to run? And last year, passing with 5 passing touchdowns, I don't know if they're going to be okay with him passing. So they're really going to try to make him uncomfortable. They're going to try to contain him and make sure that he isn't necessarily the one that beats you. Those running backs last game versus Richmond didn't really show anything. And they're going to have to say, okay, if Armstrong's going to run the ball and that's why, okay, we have to kind of, pick our poison. And they're okay with bending. They're not okay with it, but if they bend a little bit on the drive, but they don't break and they don't give up the points that they did last year, that's what's going to have to happen. And I think that defense, again, I think Virginia last year was the turning point, and they will put the clamps down. Everybody's high on Illinois. I think that's why Illinois is favored in this game, because you have a new coaching staff at Virginia, and they're trying to learn this new offense, even though a lot of offenses are very similar. And Illinois has that defense. Everybody's so high on the defense. And that's why, you have to almost lean for Illinois in this game. But it does make you worrisome when you have the exact same quarterback coming back with a offensive mind like Tony Elliott. But Tony Elliott, even though they did pass at Clemson, they love to run the football. So we're going to see if they're going to try to run the football in this Illinois defense, or they're going to try to get Armstrong out of the pocket. So defense just has to keep doing what they're doing. The offense needs to take that next step at every single position besides the running back position. But the running back position, we need another guy to step up to help relieve some of the load of Chase Brown, because what's worrisome is if you continue to give it to him 30 times a game, and I think he can handle it, but eventually you're going to start to get a little worrisome about it. So you need to find that backup running back. You need to have those wide receivers step up and show that they can be the person. You have to have a tight end that's going to step up in the red zone and go be able to catch the pass and get the touchdown and hard runs out of that. And Tommy DeVito needs to take the next step to be the leader that he is and continue to, be laser focused, locked in. And then that offensive line will take that next step forward to make sure that he has plenty of time to pass, and the run game will be fine. but they will take the next step as they continue to grow. They're a young offensive line with a veteran tackle, but they will continue to grow and take the next step and get molded into what they want. To me, those are the keys for this Illinois game. And yes, I'm an Illinois person. Illinois will win. I think we'll win this game. It's in Champaign. It's on a Saturday afternoon, 3 o'clock Central Time, and it's going to be a fun game. And Illinois is going to look to not have a revenge, but a payback year, and maybe a thank you if that really was the turning point for their defense last year. So it'll be a fun one. Those are the keys for me for Illinois versus Virginia. Thank you guys again for watching and or listening. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe button, of course. Leave a comment in the comment section down below. Follow me at Coach_Steve72, all that good stuff. Check out all the affiliates in the description below. Check out all the other episodes on the podcast. If I can get every Twitter follower to subscribe on YouTube, that would be amazing. Again, thank you guys so much for watching or listening, and we will see you next time.